Shalom and welcome to 5959 Online, Emmanuel's Virtual Village. I'm Cantor Shelley Drucker-Friedman, and I'm so glad you're joining me today for our Sefirat Omer project, Seeking Virtue on the Way to Sinai. The Omer is a period of time before Passover and Shavuot. Traditionally, we count each day of the Omer to spiritually prepare then for the receiving of the Ten Commandments on Mount Sinai, an event that is part of our collective remembrance. This year, we're also marking each day of the Omer by learning about a midah, or a virtue, as a way of not just healing the spirit, but healing the world. The midah I'd like to talk about today is Bitachon. Bitachon, loosely translated, means to trust in God, or to trust in assurances drawn from God. One who prescribes to this midah, in its most literal form, believes that there's no such thing as happenstance. There are no random occurrences. God is intrinsically involved in the running of the world, and nothing can exist or no activity can take place without God. For this, some really derive a lot of peace and joy. But some of us are not able to prescribe to Bitachon unless we use it as a metaphor. So what if you can't prescribe to such orthodoxy? The slide on your screen currently may show us a way in. Pray as if everything depended on God. Act as if everything depended on you. The idea that God is the source of our existence and of the world is, in fact, a comforting one. But to believe that God might micromanage, even if that means God stays within the laws of nature, that feels uncomfortable to some. Certainly, it feels very uncomfortable when something bad happens. As metaphor, we can see that Bitachon has a much larger meaning. Each of us are imbued with a divine spark. It's what makes us human. And perhaps one of the greatest gifts to the world was that God put godliness in each one of us. This is a lovely way to imagine negotiating the universe. The trust in ourselves, in using the tools that God has given us through Torah, through mitzvot, through our parents and other elders who have imbued in us the road map on how to organize one's life, allows us to understand that God's goodness can pervade if we stand up as junior partners and exert our goodness in the world. And now, please join me in saying the blessing for counting the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al Sefirat HaOmer. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has sanctified us with your commandments and commanded us concerning the counting of the Omer. Hayom tish'a ve'esrim yom shehem arba'a shavuot ve'yom echad la'omer. Today is 29 days, which is 4 weeks and 1 day of the Omer. Thank you so much for joining me today. My best wishes for good health and good humor during these very tricky times.